Hi everyone, I'm doing this video to explain how all of this tension and hostility has arisen. I'm not going to address all these issues because I know there will be a few collectors out there who don't understand what I do, and this is the reason I think why there's all this hostility. So I spoke to Lester Morris yesterday and I spoke to Clipper, and I thought the best thing to do is to tell the truth of how I got into collecting and where I am now. So this video will talk about that little story. Along the way, I've got some notes here so I don't start rambling on for hours and divert away from it. But I want to go through how I led up to being in Hong Kong, how I started collecting, how I started to meet and who I met in the community. People like DFUZENL, Moggy215, who is Lester Morris, Ryno Faruqi as well, and how I eventually met Clipper and the rest of the community. I'll also address some of the topics that people have brought out in some of the posts, threads on Facebook, and I want to just bring that up. Like I said, I'm not going to defend it. I'm going to tell you my side of it, and you guys can decide whatever you want to decide. I don't expect to change people's minds, but I am hoping that people will listen and understand my side of things. So let's start with how I led up to being in Hong Kong. I was born and bred in the UK. That's why I have a British accent. If you guys in the States don't hear this very often, I know I get a lot of funny looks, or they expect me to talk like this to you, you know, like this, what do you want? So I don't talk like that. I have a British accent, and that's it. Born and raised there, came over to Hong Kong about 3 years ago. I'm married and 2 boys, 4 and 2 years old. 4-year-old loves Iron Man, he knows all the armours. And I moved over here 3 years ago because there was a work situation. I was made redundant from my previous job. Things didn't work out there. Found work out here, and so I work as a full-time manager in a forensics company. So I deal in DNA, fingerprints, data analysis, surveillance, computer software, phone hacking, all that sort of stuff there. So that's what I do. That's what I do full-time. So how did I start into collecting? I never collected, I never knew about collecting toys, collecting figures, never did that. When I came to Hong Kong, I was looking for a little toy car for my son, because basically all boys like cars. So he was 2 years old at the time, so I wanted to get him something a bit chunky, something big that he could play with and, you know, wouldn't break too easy, something large. So I walked past the street that I knew had lots of toy stores and figure stores. So I walked past the shop and it had a 12-inch robot-like Iron Man thing. I thought, wow, that's really good. That would be perfect. My son is 12 inches. He can hold it. He can play about with it. And it won't break very easily. It's, you know, chunky. So I went into the store and asked them, so that silver one there, how much is that, please? And he said, I'll do the US equivalent. And he said $300 US. So I looked at him, he looked at me, for about 5-6 seconds, complete silence, because I couldn't quite understand. The only thing I could say at that point was, sorry, I didn't want to buy the whole collection of them, just that one silver one. Obviously, when I asked that and said that to him, he knew I didn't know what the hell this was talking about. He said, sorry, this is a Hot Toys Iron Man. I went, what? Bot Toys? What's that? No, sir. Hot Toys. Oh, okay. And how much is that again? 300 US. Oh, okay. So left the store, went back home to talk to my wife, told her the story. She laughed not only at me, but also how the hell can a toy cost so much? So I didn't really know anything about this. This is 2 years ago. So straight away she knew that there was a friend on Facebook called Jeff, and he loves Iron Man. He didn't know if this was Hot Toys, but he just said, loved Iron Man, speak to him. So I messaged him and asked him, look, I saw this in a shop, what is it? Is it really $300 or am I getting ripped off? He said, no, that's $300. Do you know what that is? I went, no. He told me it was a Hot Toys Mark II Armor Unleashed version. which I wanted to buy for my 2-year-old son to play with as a toy. So he said, no, you shouldn't really want to do that. So I thought, okay, so it looks really cool, could I have it? He goes, yeah, but I don't really want to pay $300 US for that, that's a lot of money. Yeah, okay, well, we'll walk around some of the shops and get something from there. So I thought, what, there are shops in Hong Kong that sell all these? I mean, yeah, there's loads of them. We can go to Hot Toys later on. So first, look in the description. I'll put in some channels of people who I've mentioned and people who I've connected with, because this is how the story flows. So went to Hot Toys. They didn't have Secret Base then. This was the original Toy Hunter store, which is in Mong Kok. Nenny D will know Toy Hunters in Mong Kok, because I know he must have bought from there. So he showed me that. I thought, wow, this is great. I want to buy that one. Sorry, sir, this is discontinued. You can't buy this from us. So, Jeff, where do I buy this? Well, you can buy it through resellers, or you can go online. There's eBay, there's Yahoo, etc. So I thought, okay, fair enough. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm buying. Jeff actually told me buying in Hong Kong can be quite a little bit dodgy. Unless you know the store and they're honest to you, some stores may sell reconditioned, repackaged, used figures in new packaging. Now, I'll come back to that, because I've actually had experience with that from a few buyers, and I'll come back to that because I want to be absolutely truthful and tell you that all of these figures that I've sent over, not every single one of them have been smooth. There have been a couple of problems, but I'll come back to that because I've dealt with them immediately and agreement with the buyer as well. So, let me finish the story. So in the end, I bought this Mark II Armor Unleashed. Jeff helped me buy it, really happy. And he said to me one thing. He said, you know, when you buy one, you're going to buy another one. I said, no. This one's fine, I'm happy with this. So a year later, I've got 30 plus Iron Men. They only made 20 at the time, but I bought some duplicates. So a year later, I had 30 of these. And I said, Jeff, you're right. My wife even said, I thought you were just going to buy one. I thought, yeah, no, I changed my mind. So I only collect the Iron Man line alone, nothing else, just that line. So the next thing is, I've got all these figures. Hong Kong, I'm sure you guys know, is quite a small area. It's tiny. In comparison to related to the UK, if you look at the whole of London from inside the Thames, so you have the East End, West End, North and South, the inclusion of that, of the river, even inside, not even, I'm trying to think even closer, North-South Circular, you know, A205, A406, that North and South Circular, that's the entire country of Hong Kong. The equivalent in the US is probably, if you drive to Vegas from LA, 4 hours, that's probably 3 times the size of Hong Kong. It is tiny. I could drive from one end to the other in about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and that's it. That's the entire country. So it's a very small population. That's why the community in Hong Kong is non-existent. It might be a few people online on Facebook, but there is no community. That's why I actually wanted to join this community, this 1/6 scale community. So it was a nice place. I thought that people could hang out, meet other people, similar interests, etc. So next thing is, that's how I started collecting. But the next thing is, how do I display this? Because space is very small in Hong Kong, I can't buy a Det-Off for 2 reasons. I can't buy a Det-Off, put it up, because I've got 2 young kids. They're going to open it and play with the figures on the lower 2 portions, and they're just going to break it. So my wife said, you know what, don't buy anything new, use what you can and turn those into display shelves. So I thought, fair enough, I can do that. Didn't really know what a good display looks like, so I went online and typed in display, collection, Iron Man figures, something like that. The first person who I met on there, or first saw, was DFUZENL. And he was the first person I thought, wow, that display is great. He had Det-Offs, he had Besta IKEA cabinets as well. The lighting was great, and I started chatting to him and learned a little bit more about how he created it, the spacing, the lighting, reflecting downwards, etc. Just wanted to chat to him. So this was about a year and a half ago, I think. Yeah, about a year and a half, a year and a bit ago. We've been chatting on and off, and he's a nice guy. He's over in Netherlands. So we kept in contact. So then I told my wife, I'm going to try and make something. If you look back in some of my old videos, you'll see some of the older display cabinets that I made using LED lights, custom acrylic boxes, glass cabinets that I made. See, to me, I know you collectors have different passions and different, gets your juices going for different reasons. To me, it's not the chase or finding the figure, because to get the figure is not very hard in Hong Kong. It's not hard at all because we make the stuff. To me, the passion is how to display them. So when you guys are chatting about figures, I can't really get involved as much because I don't really have the knowledge and the experience in such a diverse line. So I know Nenny has a huge line and very diverse in Predators. I know DFUZENL is a lover of Batman and Joker. I can't talk about those things because I don't really have a point of view. I know Rick, Clipper King, has big collection, but he changes it around a lot depending on his mood. I can't really relate to that because pretty much everything that I buy and keep. I don't sell anything on. All my Iron Man I buy. I've got multiple lines of War Machine. I've got 4 War Machines. Mark 5, I have 4 of those. Mark 6, I have 3 of those. I keep everything that I buy. And I like to display them. So after meeting DFUZENL, I worked out that I can display it by making something a bit more custom. So I've got his feedback on that. Didn't really meet any other people in the community because I wasn't really interacting that much, but occasionally I look on YouTube and look at reviews. That's when I started to search for people like Sean Long, Optibotimus as well. But I just felt their reviews wasn't in-depth enough because it was more that because they're sponsored by Big Bad Toy Store, they have to say that it's a great figure because they have to make sales really. So I wanted someone who would give more honesty about their reviews, but they didn't really review that many of Iron Man. I know they did pretty much most of them when they came out, but I wasn't sure if they're honest enough. So the next person who I met is Lester Morris, Moggy215. How I came about him was actually really interesting. About a year ago in July 2013, they released the Midas 21 exclusive version. That's a repaint of the Mark 7. It's gold, so I thought, wow, it's perfect. It matches with my silver. I could put that next to it with a gold one and a red one. It would have really nice different colour contrast, which I think will look great for a display. So I went to Hot Toys and asked them, I'd like that one, can I have it? They asked if I'm a VIP member and I went, no, sorry, you can't buy it. So I thought, okay, how do I become a VIP? Is there a joining fee, something like that? But no, it's closed now, so you can't join it, but if you joined Hot Toys right at the beginning, that VIP membership was open. So I thought, oh, so I can't join? No. How do I buy one? You can't through us. So I thought, fair enough. I'd have to buy through a reseller. Before I thought about buying through a reseller, before they just released it, I think a few days before, they did a lottery. This is the same lottery that happened a few days ago, or last week, at the beginning of July for the Bank Robber Joker 2.0, the Ancient Predator, and the Mark 20 Python. Now, some of you don't believe me that this lottery exists. I posted on Nenny D's status the email, the pamphlet that they said. It's in Chinese, but if you ask them to translate it, they'll say pretty much the same thing here, which is there are 600 sets that you can buy, but to buy it, you have to win the lottery. There are 600 of these winners, and in order to enter, you must be present in Hong Kong, you must have a permanent ID card, and an email address. So, going back a year, on this occasion was a Midas 21. So back to my mate Jeff, he told me about this. So I said, great, that's exactly what I wanted. What do I do? He said, just sign up everyone you can who has a Hong Kong ID card over the age of 18. So I did myself, my wife, parents-in-law, so mother, father, and my friend as well. So I had 5 tickets, so to say, because I've got a chance of winning this. I'm quite, instead of just me, I've got 5 times the chance of winning. But I didn't realise that every hot toy collector in Hong Kong does exactly the same thing. So it's not just I'm competing against one guy who has one ticket. There's an extended family. So I asked Jeff, how many guys did you manage to get on? 38. 38. Yeah, I got 38 friends, family, aunties, uncles, grandma, everybody he knew to try and get this Midas 21, Mark 21. So I didn't really fancy my chances because I'm thinking, you know what, everyone else has probably done the same thing. What are the odds? So I didn't win it. So I didn't get any email notification to say that I won it. So I asked Jeff, how many did you get? And he went, I didn't get any either. I thought, wow, out of 38, 37, 38, you didn't get any of them. I thought, okay, unlucky. So I had to buy this. Sorry, so just to go back a bit. So that's why when I won that lottery for the exclusive in 2014, the Python, the Bank Robber Joker 2.0 and the Ancient Predator, I was over the moon because it's so hard to win this lottery. In the whole of Hong Kong, which is a population of about 6 million, let's imagine 1% of those people, 60,000 people, have entered for this. 1% of those 6 million, that's 60,000, of which there's only 600 of these available to win. Of that, there's another 1%. So that's why I feel so lucky that I managed to win it. I understand that some collectors out there are thinking, this is a bit convenient, it's a bit of a scam as well. You can believe whatever you want. That's the story. I've got email confirmation from Hot Toys to say we have received your confirmation. This is what you're getting, etc. But that's the story, and that's how it goes. Ask people in Hong Kong who know Hot Toys, who know about this lottery. It happens every year that there's an exclusive. Okay. So, what's the relevance of this and Lester Morris? So, before I wanted to buy this, it's a lot of money. This is an expensive resale figure, and it's limited edition, it's gold, and it's a repaint of a Mark 7. I knew about the Mark 7, I like it, but I wasn't sure I wanted just a different colour version. So I went on YouTube and typed in Midas 21 Iron Man review, and a little bit lower down the listing was the flight pose that Morris had posted when he's flying and he's a very dynamic turning pose on a stand. And I saw that, I thought, wow, this guy is creative. I've seen poses where, you know, it's just like this or flying like this, but this one was absolutely great. I'll put a link in that below as well, showing that video that he did. It's absolutely great. So I chatted to him, said, oh, well, that's a fantastic pose, awesome pose, and we chatted a little bit more, and I got to know Morris a little bit more as well. But he did that video because that pose was dedicated to Ryno. So I thought, I wonder who this Ryno guy is. If Morris thinks he's quite cool, and I think Morris is quite cool, let's see who this Ryno guy is. So checked him out, saw his videos, funny guy, I find him really humorous, nice guy, and very honest, direct, very neutral, and I really liked him. So I chatted with Ryan a little bit as well, Ryan Faruqi, who does reviews. I'll show him another description, the link as well, and really enjoyed chatting to him, only on, you know, PMs and stuff like that. It's hard for me to communicate with some of the US collectors because of the time difference, because it's completely opposite plus a few hours back. So when it's night time for you guys, it's first thing in the morning, and when it's the afternoon, we're sleeping. So that's why it's harder for us to connect with the US guys. So that's how I met Ryno. Then I was looking to buy the Mark 7, and there were a few reviews out there. I didn't pay too much attention to, like I said, Sean Long's one. But then I saw a guy called TheClipper King who had loads of subscribers, and I saw some of the poses that he did for them, and I thought they were really funky. He did a review of a Mark 6 as well that I remember. Some really nice poses, very dynamic. So I clicked on the video. The first thing I saw, part 1 of 2, and I thought, Christ, how long are his reviews? The first review was 20 minutes. I thought, hang on, this is 40 minutes after watch this. Sean Long's ones are like 12 minutes, and I thought those were a bit long. So watched his review, and I actually thought, this guy's really detailed. This is what I'm looking for. I want to hear someone who's got the figure, tells me the good, the bad. It doesn't look like he's sponsored by any toy store. So I feel he is an honest guy that gives his opinion, whether it's good or bad, because everyone out there is spending their hard-earned cash to buy these figures. I know this because I'm a collector. I collect it. I have to do the same as you. I've got to save up money to buy these for my collection. So this is the thing that I thought. This guy's really honest. I like him. I'm going to watch more of his reviews over time. The problem is though, because I only like Iron Man figures, these guys purely want their they only have a very diverse collection. So I only want to see those particular reviews, and they do reviews of everything. And I wasn't quite sure, so I never really check up on it occasionally. I checked up on it after he did a Damn Toys Spade, and this is how I started to know these guys. This is how I started to know Rick. I found out he had problems looking for the Spade 2. The J. So he found the Spade 2 and he's looking for the Spade J. I don't remember seeing it in the shops because I was only looking at Iron Man, but I saw loads of military type figures. I'm sure they have something. So I messaged Rick and said, hi, I'm Anthony, I'm in Hong Kong. We've got loads of figure shops here. I'm not sure if you want me to have a look, but I know you're having problems having a look, finding it over in the UK. Let me have a look to see if we can find it over here. So I found it. It was literally in the second shop window. If you look on my video of when I walked around Mongkok, it's in that video of the second shop I was in. So this hard to find figure is not hard to find. It was just right there in the shop window. So in the end, I managed to get one for him, sent it to him, and he was really happy because he spent months looking for it, and I literally did it in a couple of weeks. And it wasn't easy, but it wasn't really hard either. So Rick, I think, promoted me because I didn't mind looking for, because I enjoy looking at figures. I started to learn about other figures, the DX lines, some non-Hot Toys, but I prefer Hot Toys. But it's just the fact that I don't mind looking at or shopping essentially for figures because I quite enjoy it. It's quite funky stuff. I see some displays in shops and I really enjoy it. But this is the bit that started to annoy me. And these are some of the topics I actually want to address. The first topic is, am I a seller? I'm not a seller, and I'll explain the definition of a seller and explain my situation. A seller is someone who intentionally purchases stock to sell to people at obviously a higher price, because that's what he does for a living. Firstly, I don't do what I do for a living. I'm a full-time manager in a forensics company. This is not even something I do on the side. This is when someone messages me and says, I'm looking for this, can you try and get hold of it? So this is my second point. I don't hold any stock. I go out to a store, which is actually, I am an extension of you guys as a collector. You walk to a store to buy a figure. I'm walking to a store on your behalf to buy a figure. You use your eyes to look around. I do the same thing. When you decide on the figure you want to buy, you use money to pay for it. You guys transfer the money to me, I use that money to pay for the figure. There's two differences. Next thing is we have to package it up and I've got to send it over, and that's at a cost which you incur. So any shipping costs is the cost price. I don't mark it up. Secondly, my fee is including in the packaging. I charge between £20 to £40 maximum. I don't charge more than that. And I do that for a reason, because I don't feel that's fair to charge more than £40, depending on how hard it was to find that figure for the packaging. As a collector, I wouldn't feel comfortable charging someone £100 for finding a figure and sending it to them. So that's why I've put these parameters, and I've put this in my status as well. So that's one thing. The second point is a big point as well. If you walked into a store, the same store, asked for a price on a figure, then I did the same thing, I'm very confident I would get a better price than you in Hong Kong. The reason is twofold. Number one, I'm Chinese. Chinese people are quite racist. They like to deal with their own kind. And I'm not bullshitting anyone. That's how the world works in some respects. So I know this happens because I've seen it happen to people. Second thing is, I speak the language. I communicate with them. And also, I've bought from these guys before. I kind of know who the bad sellers and not trustworthy ones are compared to the trustworthy ones are. So that's my take on it. That's the difference between me and a seller. Whether or not you believe what I'm telling you, fair enough, but I'm telling you the truth and this is what happens. People who know me will understand that this is what I do. There's no hidden motive, there's no agenda. I'm very clear and cut, direct with what I do. Okay, so the next thing is pricing. It's all about pricing. Pricing in Hong Kong has no retail. If you want to sell this is what I'm drinking. If you sell this carton of tea for $1 in a shop, you can do. If you want to sell this for $100 in another shop, you can do. I think it's called MSRP in the US. It doesn't exist here. So if a shop is selling something at a lower price, something selling at a higher price, they're completely within that. So when you guys say, what's the retail? Well, there isn't one. It's wherever you can find for it. So that's the next thing about pricing. I can't control what the prices are. The prices are whatever the shop gives it to me at. I don't go to Hot Toys, buy at the lowest price at $100 and sell at $300, or buy at $200 and sell at $600, which some of you guys think I'm doing. I don't do that because I only collect Iron Man lines and I don't sell those on. If you want something, I'll have to go to a reseller or buy direct from Hot Toys, and that's what happens. And I have bought directly from Hot Toys because I know some of you buyers have asked me, can I get this? And I said, yes you can, and I know Hot Toys sell it. I buy it direct from them and send it over. And sometimes it's substantially cheaper than buying online or locally. So that's why a large number of collectors have bought those figures asking me to get them for them. Talking about pricing and buying locally in the UK and US, I've always urged collectors to look locally before coming to me. The reason being, I lived in the UK. I know this business worldwide is tough. It's very, very tough. I don't know personally the guys over at Toy HQ. I don't know the good, the bad and the robots. I know Wyman over at 16 Bruce a little bit. We chat a little bit. I know this business because I know the store owners in Hong Kong. It's really tough. The margins are tight. Customers get angry or delays that they can't control. Margins and stock that they hold is a lot of money, and I know this is tough. So please guys, if you can buy the particular figures in the UK, please do so, and only if you really can't find what you want, ask me to look for you. Okay, so that's hopefully I've tried to explain that about pricing and the prices. Also, one other thing about pricing before I move on to the next topic. Pricing fluctuates depending on which figure. Some of you guys ask me for a price and you've instantly bought because it's much cheaper than online or where you can buy locally. Other times you guys said, oh that's really high, and I said, yeah, because in the UK, in Hong Kong, they inflate the price of certain lines. Iron Man lines they inflate. The Avengers line they inflate. Some other ones, like the Indiana Jones and the Luke Skywalker, the DX5 and DX7, those aren't really inflated much. So those guys are asking me to buy direct from Hot Toys, which I've done. So that's why they're getting better deals than other people. So I don't want you guys to think that I'm inflating these prices. I'm in no control of the prices. It's as if you walked to the shop to buy this from the store. I'm being your legs to walk to the store and negotiating on your behalf as well. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is my contribution to the figure community. My contribution is not very much because I don't really have much of an opinion of a diverse collection because I don't have it. My opinions are only on the Iron Man lines because that's all I collect. My opinions are also on how to create LED cabinets, display setups, because that's my passion. The passion for me is how to display them as opposed to the figure itself. You may say that I'm not a real collector. Well, I just believe in a different part of the collecting process. That's what everyone I think has a different passion for, but that's just my view. One other thing I want to cover is some figures haven't worked out very well, and I'll be very honest and blunt with that. There have been 4 poor transactions through no fault of my own. So I'm not going to go through the details of it, but essentially, when I bought the figure, I was told they're mint in box unused. I sent them over, except for one. One was used, and I should put my hand up because of my lack of experience in used figures. probably shouldn't even arrange to buy this for this guy, because it turned out to be not what he wanted. My expectation was here on a used figure. His expectation was much higher, and so I said, you know what, this is not going to work out because you're obviously dissatisfied with this. I'll give you a full refund, send it back, and then everyone's happy. We made an arrangement a little bit later, and then it spiraled out of control. But the bottom line is, I was upfront and honest, saying, you know what, it probably shouldn't have happened. I'll give you a full refund immediately. I offered it immediately when he mentioned there was a problem, because that was my responsibility. I probably should have taken that that particular figure on. But anyway, the other 3 figures, I was told they were mint in box. I sent them out, opened them. They were repackaged used figures. I'm basing on information from a reseller. So I said, you know what, I believe you. They showed me pictures. I believe you. I trust you that you haven't altered these figures, that it's a used figure. So I would do one of 2 things. One, I would offer to give you a full refund and for you to send that back. And I would pay for that to send that back. Or 2, you know what, you keep the figure, but it's come to arrangement that you bought a used figure. That is generally the agreement. And I would say, absolute honest truth, when they tell me there's a problem, it is resolved the same day, if not in the same couple of hours that it's come up. So this doesn't drag on for days and weeks. It is resolved immediately. So if you guys think that I'm a dishonest seller, most of the time they'll tell you to F off. And sorry, you bought it as seen, there you go. I've lost out on a lot of money on some of these transactions. If you guys who have bought from me and had a bad transaction and you want to speak up about it, please do so. I have nothing to hide, because I've been always honest and truthful. Whether or not that's interpreted as underhand tactics as a seller, I don't really care. I'm doing this video to try and give my side of the story on it. So the last thing I want to say is that the office that I'm in now, that means that I'm close to all these figures, we're relocating next year. We're relocating at the beginning of next year, the first quarter, I think February or March, which means I won't be able to do this anymore for collectors, because I'm moving this to the other side of Hong Kong, where there's no real figure stores there. There's one small street that has like 4. But I'm not near a post office, I'm not near bubble wrap shops or cardboard boxes, so I won't be able to do this anymore after the new year, if you guys still want me to, by the way. I only will do this when people ask me to look for figures. I don't sell figures. I just want to clarify, I don't sell figures. I don't sell figures. People come to me to see if I can find a figure for them, which is, in my book, a big difference. So, I won't be doing that anymore, purely because it's inconvenient. I can't go to the post office in time, package it up and send it in these boxes, you know, that I put everything in. They're pretty large, so I just can't do it. So, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover. I'm not sure if this will be well received by people. I'm not sure if people will think that I'm defending myself, trying to con more people to think that I'm an honest seller. I don't really care, honestly. I got a bit pissed off, and the people who know me, Dean Knight, who knows me a little bit, DFUZENL, who knows me a little bit, Rick knows me probably the most in the community, we talk a lot, and I got a bit pissed off that the reason why I joined this community was because I wanted to know more about this hobby, this passion, and there's no community in Hong Kong. So just a bit upset that I got all this heat. I can understand why I got the heat, because people didn't understand. Now that I've explained to people the situation, I hope this doesn't come up again. And if it does, I may just disappear from the community completely. It doesn't really matter to me, but I'll still do what I do. I'll still put up my YouTube videos and I'll disappear, and I don't know. But anyway, that's the truth about budget stock, and that's pretty much it. But thanks for watching, guys. It's not as long as some of the other videos, but I know this is a long video for me. Thanks very much for watching, and hopefully you found a little bit more about me. Thanks, guys.